Hey, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show as we try to put a smile on the pig that is today. I'm sorry, Fred. I didn't mean that. I wasn't referring to you. I was just thinking we were watching the Eastern New Mexico State Fair up in Roswell, and they had pigs on the TV all day yesterday. They had the swine show. And then Lon and I watched the market goat show for a little while last night, and you're an ag, you animals, so you know. Is the goat show nothing more than a glorified dog show? The way they present the animals and the way they look and how sometimes the animals react. I mean, they're not as trainable as dogs, obviously.
No, they're not.
But does it not look an awful lot like just a glorified dog show?
It does. But it works well for children of that age to, learn how to deal with animals. So,
That's right.
There's a purpose behind it.
Yeah. Oh no. It was fun to watch, and I think today is. I had it on the schedule here. It is the Market Lamb Show is today at 10 o'clock up at the Eastern New Mexico State Fair. So how you been?
I've been doing well.
How are things down south on the ranch?
They're good. We've had all the rain. I'm going into a winter in better shape than I have been in several years. So it's going to be a fire hazard soon.
Right.
The old hated needle grass has turned the whole desert a sheen of brown. It's thick, and that stuff in the wind in a match goes like gasoline.
Oh, yeah.
So I think the fire departments, especially the rural fire departments, are going to have their hands full when it really gets dry and the wind picks up and, the inevitable brush fires get started. So
keep an eye on that, and it starts blowing across the roads, gets up in the radiators and in the air intakes on your vehicles and stuff, and so you got to worry about that.
It's been a while, but I've seen it like snow drifts against the house and on fences. The worst I ever saw was, it's been several years ago, coming through Artesia, when it was stacked up on all the chain link fences on the highway all the way through town. So,
yeah. So it's something to see. But you're right about the fire hazard, so be aware of that and be extra careful with all that. You get off on the side of the road and don't drive over, if you can avoid it, the dry grasses and stuff like that, because especially your catalytic converter is super, super hot. It can start that stuff up.
Yeah, that's law of unintended consequences.
Yeah, well, let's see. Why do we have the catalytic converters again? Oh, yeah, the environment. Saving the planet.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the county commission meeting. You guys had a meeting yesterday down in Carlsbad.
Yes, and it was, I don't know if contentious is the right word, but it was the first meeting we've had that there was some significant discussion.
Okay.
And let me read the first item on the agenda: a public hearing on regulating medical and recreational cannabis establishments and other cannabis businesses, production of cannabis and cannabis products.
Okay.
We had two comments during our meetings up until this point, and I think yesterday we had a dozen.
Okay.
And it was all pro-cannabis, and there was a part of the regulation, and I don't want any part of new regulations, but this has been handed down to us like a lot of other things from Santa Fe, something we had to deal with. And so we were going to do a very simple regulations, kind of mirroring what would be done with alcohol. The state statute is that you can't do anything on the county level in excess of what the state has. Well, the state has virtually done nothing.
Okay.
So we're trying to get a little bit ahead of this. Whether the one regulation that everybody was opposing.
This is the pro-cannabis people that were speaking.
Most of them were business owners in the medical cannabis community already.
Okay.
And they were, it's the law of the land. I mean, we've got to deal with it.
Okay. So what were they agitated by?
Well, there was one rule in there that any business establishment has got to be 300 feet from a property line of a neighbor.
Okay.
And, that's a little above and beyond some of the other stuff. So, and what we did, we ended up tabling it till we can go back and make some adjustments. The main adjustment's going to be, it's going to be 300 feet from structure to structure. From a residence to a business, there's got to be 300 feet separation. There will also be...
so not 300 feet from the property line.
Not 300 feet from the property line, which opens up more area. There were they made some good points as far as the law goes. So we tabled it, and we're going to try to fix it and come back later and with that.
Or you could say, okay, we're going to go building to building, but it's now going to be 1,000 feet.
We could have done that, and that may be where it ends up before. Yeah.
Then you're getting into 6 of one and half a dozen of another. It could be 300 from the property line or 600 building to building. What do you want?
Well, it's not something we wanted to do at all, but it's kind of. I'm not about...
Well, let me ask you this, Fred. I don't think you were on the commission when the man camp ordinance was finally approved, but you're on the commission now.
I am now.
And there is a man camp ordinance that's in effect. What are the separations on that? Do you remember?
I really don't know because I haven't had to deal with it. I know there are some separations, but, I think it's a typical business deal, for schools, churches, that kind of thing. It is a 300-foot separation, so, and that is property line as well. So, but that still will be in effect. So there is a precedent for it, but we're gonna tone it down just a little bit to kind of fit the situation. But there was a lot of talk about there is no precedent for this, with oil and gas, and there they go, and they're attacking oil and gas. So you get.
But there is a precedent
from oil
for
and
it.
Gas.
Yeah,
but there is. I mean, I think it's 500 feet for an existing well, or I know on the dust standards for like a caliche pit or something, it's well over 500 feet. So
there is a precedent.
There is some precedent.
Yeah.
Yes.
So okay, you guys want 500 feet? We'll just pull the dust. We'll just pull the dust thing here from the well thing, from the oil and gas, if you want to be treated equally, and we'll consider marijuana smoke like dust, and you guys are 500 feet from the property line. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, you can see where I stand on it. I mean,
And I really don't want to be dealing with this, and it's not something I anticipated. It wouldn't have made any difference. I was still going to run for the seat.
Yeah.
But. So
it sounds to me like what they're objecting to is it's limiting where they can put their stores to basically out in the middle of the countryside where they're not next to anything else. Then they can have their pot store out there.
Yes, but that's not going to draw a crowd. I think they want to have the pot store in town. I think there was a bit of misunderstanding, thinking this county ordinance will encumber city limits, Loving, Artesia, Carlsbad, and it won't. It's got no bearing on that.
Yeah. So if they're
in the county,
their proposal operation is in the city, then they're dealing with the city ordinances. This strictly affects the out in the county.
I'm thinking if anything, the production of cannabis and cannabis products, I don't know that they're going to grow it like alfalfa hay or cotton in open fields.
Yeah.
I guess that would be legal. I would think there would be people that would probably, I think, what was it? Somebody talking up here on the radio here a while back, one of your ads, the big thing with kids back in the day was stealing watermelons.
That's right.
So in an open field, so yeah, somebody's going to be in it. So, but I think it'll probably be in greenhouses and what have you. So I don't know. I don't know that anybody knows. So
yeah, well, like you said, it's one of those things that I guarantee people on both sides are looking at every letter, every comma, every space. They're looking for what's written in the law. They're looking for what's intended in the law that may not be written in the law. So yeah, it's not an easy task to have to figure this all out.
Like so many other things that come out of Santa Fe, they just pass this thing and walk away from it. There's been no guidance. We really don't know what they want or what they don't want, other than, they want the tax revenue, and it's already proven that's not going to happen. I mean, I go back to the same old deal, and I said yesterday, I wish this had never happened. I'm not in favor of it. But it's here, and we've got to deal with it. But show me the state, somebody in the government, in the legislature, a governor in a state that has passed this, that says this has been a resounding success. We're getting all of the tax revenue we anticipated. This thing's working great. I have not heard that person get in front of a camera and make that speech. So.
Yeah, and have like the Arrowhead report and be able to distribute it to everybody and say, here's what's really going on for your consideration. I don't think there's a pothead report that's out there that.
No, but then on another note.
So it got tabled.
It got tabled, and we're going to fix it, and it'll come back. I think it's going to be the first.
Well, you keep saying you're going to fix it. I don't know.
Well, we're going to change it. There is no really fixing it, but we're going to try to get something out there that will. Yeah, there's no fixing it. We're going to change it.
There you go.
But a companion ordinance that did pass, it's something we've got to have in place for some other stuff, really, to know where these businesses are going to be is, people doing business in the county are going to have a business license. I think it's going to cost them $25. No big deal. And I really did not want to do that, but I voted for it. The impetus on this was before this cannabis deal ever came up. If we do a business license, then our better and well-trained firefighters within the county will have the ability to do fire inspections on new buildings and new businesses coming up in the county. Now, then Santa Fe will approve that if they've got a business license, is the way I understand it. Now some of those guys, they get their building complete and they're sitting there vacant for weeks, if not months, before Santa Fe comes down and inspects them. So that'll help that process along.
Okay, so now county inspectors. Or city inspectors if it's in a city? Or I know yours just affects Eddy County.
Yeah, ours is just in the city. But there's a lot of businesses in the county, and there's going to be some pushback on that. I'm sure I'm not big into ordinances.
Yeah,
I'd rather be having this fight over repealing some ordinances, and I think that's coming at some point.
So the business license ordinance did pass.
It did pass, yes.
Okay.
So
were you the lone no vote, or?
No, I voted for it. It's going to be helpful to new buildings and new businesses. So.
Okay, so when does that go into effect? In other words, when do these businesses that are in the county
thinking pretty quickly
have to get their business license?
We're going to make it it's going to be pretty simple. There's not going to be. You don't have to have an inspection. You just show up and pay your $25, and we're going to keep it very cheap and try to not put anybody on the spot. So, and then that will enable our local inspectors who have got certified to do this to make some things happen and help business along.
Well, so for example, Pecos Valley Broadcasting. We're in Artesia. We're based in Artesia. This building we're in is in Artesia. But I have a facility in the county. Do I now have to get and I have an Artesia business license?
That's a better question than I'm able to answer.
Hanging on the wall back there. But I have property and a facility that is in the county. Do I have to get a county business license?
I'm going to have to find that out, but I would say no, coming from me. I would not push that. But
yeah.
There's going to be deep in the language that was
you
approved by lawyers.
It, Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Commissioner, you passed this thing. What do I got to do now? You're probably going to get a few of those questions.
Probably pay your $25 and get a business license. So.
Fine. Where do I post it? There's nobody there.
Yeah. I think that would be an extension of Artesia. of your Artesia business. I would not think,
Yeah.
that'd be.
Well, folks are gonna be finding this out over the next few weeks as this moves forward.
Synonymous with, if you've got a trucking company in Artesia, do you have to have a county business license to drive those trucks out in the county and do work?
Yeah. Or if you have a warehouse in the county and you've got your business in town, do you have to get a county business license for your warehouse facility that's out in the county?
I wish I'd had these questions to ask yesterday.
And I'm not really, seriously, I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. I'm just,
but there's, and that's what you run into.
Yeah.
You heard me say earlier, the law of unintended consequences. This stuff, somewhere down the road, there's stuff comes up that nobody thought of until you start enforcing it.
Yeah.
And then you're going to run into problems. I would rather be fighting over repealing ordinances than passing ordinances. So.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have, I'm sure, a few more questions. So,
oh, yeah.
who do you want to pass the buck to? Who should we call?
Not me.
Not you.
I'll have to get up to speed on that.
No, that's fine. Because that's going to start.
Oh yeah.
Those types of questions are going to start coming up. Also, we can have pot in the state of New Mexico. We have to do all this stuff. So
yeah, it's all kind of predicated.
Yeah. Thank you, Governor.
Yeah.
It'll do that. Hey, let's take a break.
Okay.
We've got a news break coming up, and Fred's going to look through the agenda and see what else we need to share with the folks as we're talking Eddy County Commission news next.